Dude, check the news. It doesn't matter what channel.
This just in. Extreme weather is now impacting real estate. In Florida, there's hurricanes headed their way, and I'm wondering why these people bought real estate in that part of the world anyway. So in real estate, we're always talking about mortgage rates and skyrocketing home prices, but are we really leaning in on what's happening with all the weather, hurricane after hurricane after hurricane? I mean, come on, Kris, do you intentionally buy real estate in those areas when you're really taking on a ton of risk? Well, for homeowners and investors alike, hurricanes and wildfires, tornadoes, floods, this can turn a great investment into an absolute financial nightmare. So why do we take the risk? Let's find out. So I own this property in Florida, had it for about 5 years, and I just got news that something happened and it burned down. How do you think I reacted? Well, I think a lot of people, you freaked out. They're like, dude, I had an asset, it burned down. Do you know how I reacted? Woo! Like literally the insurance is going to give us a top dollar check for this disaster. And sure enough, when it hit my bank account, I had a really wickedly big smile on my face. So when we talk about disasters, I want to just start by saying if you're a real estate investor, we have to have a plan for weather. We have to have a plan for worst case scenarios so that when they happen, we don't say, oh, I guess I'm up a creek without a paddle. The reality is there's a way for a successful real estate investor to predict different possible outcomes and be prepared for them. And in that situation, why do you think I insured the property in the first place? It burned down, I got a really big check. I was not disappointed. But on the other hand, we do have natural disasters that if you're not prepared for, can be really bad. Let's talk about, for example, Florida and owning real estate there. If you're a coastal city and you've got one of those hurricanes blowing through, you might be thinking, but Kris, I got insurance, I'm probably good. I'm like, actually, insurance premiums have gone up so much that it's eaten up all your positive cash flow. And so it's just like, yeah, you're prepared if a natural disaster hits. But in the meantime, guess what you're dealing with? You're dealing with losing money when there isn't a disaster. So there's a balance in the game of how you win. Well, let's talk about real estate fundamentally. You might be thinking, Kris, if I buy real estate in some type of disaster zone, my guess is I'm going to get a discount, right? You would be wrong. Surprisingly, real estate prices, which continue to set record highs, have stayed resilient even in areas with extreme weather conditions. Consider Fort Lauderdale. 25 inches of rain in April 2023 in a single 24-hour period. It caused widespread flooding and damages, but that didn't hurt the prices of real estate. The disaster didn't dampen homebuyer interest. According to recent Redfin data, median home prices in Fort Lauderdale have actually increased by 8% since last year. So despite their climate resistance, better prepared states simply don't hold the same appeal as sunshine and beaches do. In Wyoming, for example, the median price last year literally went down 4.8%. So there's no correlation between this idea of, okay, I'm in a disaster area, so I'm gonna get a better deal. It actually doesn't work that way at all. On the other hand, I'm gonna tell you right now that I own a lot of real estate in Florida, but I don't own on coastal cities. I own inland because a Category 5 hurricane, by the time it comes inland, basically turns into a 1 category. I'm probably not even gonna lose a shingle off of my roof. Now I do have insurance, but now my insurance premiums are staying lower because I'm not in those danger zones. So there is balance to how to play the game intelligently. Here's what I would say. Depending on where you live, you could have potential problems with your real estate and you always need to have insurance for it. If you're in a flood zone, that's the #1 damage that you're gonna find on property, so you need to be properly equipped with that. I make sure that my insurance actually covers black mold, so that if the home had some kind of leak in the wall and it wasn't caught and there was black mold, I want my insurance company to cover that. Any house can burn to the ground. I need fire insurance, but if you live in an area where you've got fault lines, then you need specialty insurance for that. Or if you've got tornadoes and things like that, then you need insurance for that. Bottom line is, insurance is really what's going to take care of you at the very end of the day, but you need to be aware in the last 2 years that insurance companies, they started aggressively rising prices. And so I'll tell you right now, in Florida, insurance has made some of my ROIs go down enough that it's been concerning, which is why I'm staying outside those coastal areas and I'm basically avoiding those kind of insurance dilemmas and problems. When investing, be careful to ultimately insure the home and make sure that it's adequately weatherproofed so that you don't have flood or weather damage or things like that. It's also easy to buy insurance that is undercovered, which basically means if you have a disaster, they're not gonna cover as much, so you need to be careful. What I said about mold, that's really real. You need to make sure you've got carefully written policies to cover that, because that's more common than a tornado touching down. Ultimately, before I buy an investment property, I'm always looking at its ROI, its return on investment. You see, I'm gonna put money in, and I wanna know how much money you're gonna give out. And so when I calculate my ROI, insurance premium is one of the things that I factor in, because I factor in all my costs, and depending on where you are in the country, that cost might go up substantially and hurt your numbers and your cash flow enough to say, you know what, actually the deal penciled out, it was a good deal, but once I factored in this really expensive insurance, I'm out, I can't do the deal anymore. In many other situations, insurance does not become expensive and actually kill deals. But in Florida, it certainly has. If you're ready to start building a real estate portfolio, today's video just illustrates that there's a lot of little details that can actually add up to something really big and really important. And whether we're talking about weather, or we're talking about how well that house is gonna rent in that area, or how well it's gonna appreciate, or what the tax benefits are gonna be, you have to be able to look at all the different moving pieces and collectively say, here's my projected ROI. And it's either enough that I'm getting performance on my money that I'm excited about, or I'm not. If you're worried that you might be going into real estate less equipped or less knowledgeable, and you want to have an expert literally in your wings helping you out, click the link below and request a free game plan. Literally let me show you how I would start investing in real estate based on you, your age, where you live, the money you have or you don't have, and I'll show you how to win. When I got started in real estate, I literally started with nothing, and there was a game plan for me to be a multimillionaire within 5 years and literally retire and not have to work again if I didn't want to. That game plan exists for you. Click the link below, request a free game plan. Let's see what your plan looks like. I know what you might be thinking, Kris, you don't know me. Literally, I couldn't invest in real estate. I have reasons. I'm telling you right now, anyone can invest in real estate. And if you want to know if it's true, click right here, watch this video. Let me prove it to you.